Hey, good morning, guys. It's May 31st. We are, wow, 5 months through 2025, which is absolutely crazy. That's almost halfway. Anyway, Chambers is in John 2 today, and it's talking about Jesus and his not committing himself unto them. It says, Jesus did not commit himself unto them, for he knew what was in man. And so it's this idea of where we put our trust. Um, and it's interesting if you talk to people who are in relationships with the opposite. Oh, by the way, look, I was right. There was something happening underneath. New skin. My scab is gone. It's a good reminder, though, to me, actually, is that we trust that something is happening under the surface that we're not aware of, that we don't see, but we just trust it's going to happen. That when the scab leaves, that there's new skin under there. So, anyway, same thing with our spiritual life. Sometimes what's on the outside is not exactly what you want to see, but just have to trust that if we are placing ourselves in the right place in front of God, that He is doing something under the surface, and then one day that will manifest. Anyway, sorry. Back to not putting our trust in God. People in relationships, a lot of times you hear them say, "Well, I don't want to be hurt," and they're saying, "I don't want to be hurt by this person. This person's going to hurt me. This person's going to fail me. This person, I don't want to experience fill in the blank." And the truth is, yep, they will. They'll hurt you. Um, they will fail you, um, and that is just the state in which we live. That we do fail each other. That we do hurt each other. And so Jesus, understanding that man was fallible, he trusted in God's will. That's what he did. He trusted in the will of God. He trusted in the work that God was doing, and the work that God was doing in man, by the way, mankind. So he says here in the first paragraph, if I put my trust in human beings first, I will end up in despairing of everyone. If I trust in people, I will be disappointed. And that's, you might say, well, that's a really cynical way to look at the world, Toby. It's just, what kind of trust are you putting in them? Are you trusting in them to not fail, to not disappoint, to not hurt? If that is what you're trusting in, you will be disappointed. So never trust anything, it says here in the end, but the grace of God in yourself or in anyone else. And that's where perfect unity comes. And Paul again and again talks about love covering a multitude of sins, and us confessing our sins one to another, and us washing each other's feet, and us coming together in one accord, being unified. And what it does is that covers and makes atonement for those failings. But there are failings. We do fail each other, but the grace of God does not fail. So it talks about putting God's needs first here in the second paragraph. We must get some work to do. This is the voice of the man in Chambers studies is, but we must get some work to do. The heathen are dying without God, and we must go and tell them of Him. It's a good sentiment, but Chambers qualifies it and says we have to see first of all that God's needs in us personally are being met. What does He need from me personally? Is that happening? Am I submitting myself? Am I being obedient? Am I allowing God to sanctify me? If those things aren't happening, if I'm not laying myself bare in front of God, and as Jesus did, being committed to doing the will of the Father, then all those other things will never be fruitful. The needs of God first are to deal with my heart. When God's needs in us have been met, then He will open the way for us to realize His needs everywhere, or elsewhere, sorry, is what Chambers says here. And then in the end, it kind of comes down to what the purpose of God is. And Chambers says God's ultimate purpose is that his son, and he talks about me being Bethlehem, allowing God to plant the seed of his son in me, and for his son to grow, to manifest. And that's an interesting picture, that I'm Bethlehem, that God's son is being kind of planted in me and coming to fruition, coming to full maturity in me, the Son of God coming to, he says God's ultimate purpose is that his Son might be manifested in my mortal flesh. So be encouraged today. It is an encouragement, in all honesty, that we don't have to trust in man to be perfect and to not disappoint, and we just understand that they will. That we will disappoint each other, but at the same time, we know that God's grace is sufficient. That's an interesting phrase in the Bible. God's grace is sufficient. So, hope that was helpful. I don't know. I think I was all over the place, but the good news is the scab's gone. You guys have a great day.